Hey guys, Veebat here with another replays, taking a look at the Focke-Wulf 5.7. Why are we looking at a Tier 3 German heavy fighter? Well, the reason is, I am trying to get to the ME410 because as part of the DOE 335 grind, after I unlock that aircraft, you actually get a special camo for the ME410, and I can't just let that thing sit there not being used, so I decided to go down the German heavy line. Now I've had this aircraft for a while just because at Tier 3 this thing's pretty nasty. It allows me to be able to get done some of the low tier missions that require taking out air targets in particular. Now, there's something to note about German heavy aircraft is that German heavy aircraft are pretty good at being able to do some heavy damage utilizing, we'll drop those, utilizing cannons at a relatively low tier. Whoop. You can kind of see them right there underneath the belly. They are very odd guns. They're actually look like they're almost gorilla glued onto the aircraft as an afterthought. Now you do get a substantial amount of munitions here, but they are lower level munitions. And here we are going up against what this aircraft loves, which is going to be biplanes. Very easy to take out, especially since they're relatively low speed at this tier, so having a heavy fighter is going to do us some good in these instances. Ooh. Still some more. Looks like my bots are suffering, and no matter how many aircraft I'm shooting down, we're still having a bit of a problem. Whoop. The climb rate on these aircraft isn't spectacular, very large wings, and it's very floaty in its flight profile. Took out another target. That's all the air targets in this zone, but we have yet to capture it as a result of all of my teammates dying in this general vicinity. So let's beeline it over to the rocket base and see if we can help out over there. At the very least, we should have some enemies to be able to go up against. This aircraft is equipped with the 220s that I mentioned before, but it also has a 20mm cannon as the turret in the back, which is going to be quite helpful considering it has an increased crit chance, which means we can damage a lot more modules on the enemy aircraft. However, while we may be able to damage modules, we are not going to be able to wipe them out outright with this gun in most instances. Fortunately, looks like somebody just crashed. Let's see if we can take out one of these lofty little biplanes, such as this Hawk 2, as we close on the target, utilizing what's essentially a sniper at this tier, since a lot of aircraft are sporting just light machine guns. We're able to start getting hits way earlier than this guy anticipated, and we're able to wipe out 2 aircraft quite handily. Now hopefully that rocket base will help us capture that other zone that we were having trouble with.
Rocket has reached the target.
We actually have an aircraft at higher altitude. This is a player in a Tier 2 German heavy aircraft. The AO. Now we're not going to be able to stay pitched up like this, so let's see if we can wipe him out and roll over in this. There we go. We do still get 30 seconds of boost. I am sporting the same equipment that I sport on most of my aircraft as heavy fighters. Just look at that damage output compared to the tier. More than enough to be able to do what needs to get done to knock out aircraft and be able to do what it is that a heavy is expected to do. Like I said before, these biplanes have a real tough time with the amount of damage coming at them, and while biplanes are extremely maneuverable, they are typically not very fast, which is exactly what this aircraft likes to see. This player in the Tier 2 Heavy is maybe the same guy, maybe a different one. Nope, they're in a pair. Are trying to take this base because it is extremely important, and as players they know that. However, looks like he had a bit of a problem with the ground. We're going to operate as a wall over here and essentially stop anybody from being able to get towards this part of the map. We have a bomber up high. but we have way too many things down low that we need to take care of. So let's see if we can attrit some of them away, and then we'll come back for the bomber in a minute. Ground attacker right here. Looks like he's sitting still, doesn't it? It's the beauty of these low tier fights. You can knock out aircraft pretty wholeheartedly. Note that the lack of maneuverability, we almost ate the ground right there. We're firing earlier than anticipated, but that's because we know that we're going to close in that target pretty quickly. We do have something behind us. We have quite a few things behind us, but let's see if we can climb up to that bomber and we can just start peppering away with this heavy cannon. Like I said, we're not going to knock him out, but we are going to take care of some of his modules. We took out some of that one's engine in particular. Let's dive back down and finish the job. There's the pair again. Let's... oh, it's only the one. Thought that that was the heavy. We actually got our bombs back. They take a really long time to reload in this aircraft. But let's do what we should be doing, which is countering the heavies. He too has a pretty decent cannon in the back. But now he's gone. And we don't have the maneuverability to deal with him, but we can get our tail gunner on him and knock him out.
You'll soon be cut off from support. I say again, support
Looks
will
like
not be
his buddy
available.
is on me, chasing me down. Let's get a little bit of speed away from that area. Let's wipe out this hawk. It's almost like shooting fish in a barrel at this tier. And this grind is going to be relatively fast, and we're going to cover it the whole way through. I think I may have gotten some lag there. Snake that kill from the AA. There's the ground attacker. Oop, look out for that ground. Let's do this. Our favorite thing with the turret here. Knocked out another aircraft.
There's a heavy
The bomber
squad
is
here,
back.
unable to
Let's start
proceed.
climbing up to
Return
meet him.
base. Do you copy?
We can't make a really steep climb, but we can at least maintain this velocity while at about a 35-degree angle. We're pitching up. Let's see if we can get these guns on target for at least a little bit. Nope. Kicking on the extra boost that I had saved up from before, because we are running the engine coolant. Oh, not quite. And we're just gonna float out of the air. This altitude is not where this aircraft is meant to be. And we're gonna start eating some of that turret.
Air supremacy achieved.
We do have air supremacy, which is relatively easy to achieve at this tier. This turret can fire pretty far around the aircraft. In
Keep it up.
fact,
Victory is
it can go almost
ours.
180 off the nose. Let's get that engine back up and running so we can keep flying. Looks like we're gonna have to do another turret pass on him if we want to hope to get any damage on him. And that is another turret kill. This game is just about over, and you can see how quickly we'll be able to get out of this aircraft and get to the next aircraft, the BF-110. But like I said, this is a keeper. This is sitting in my inventory just to be able to do the low-level missions and be able to put some serious hurt on the enemy.
We're waiting for your return.
Going back to the hangar, there was obviously a massive amount of combat score. We were pretty much killing everything that we pointed the nose at. Again, there's 20 millimeters at this tier. It's just unfair how much damage this thing can really pump out. That tail gunner is pretty strong as well. When we take a look at the upgrades that are available on this aircraft, it gets two 20mm cannons to start, but then gets a buffed variant of those as well that pump out just a little bit more damage and give it just a little bit more range, but that range can make all the difference at this tier. There's the 20mm cannon that we can equip it with that is pumping out a significant amount of damage for the tier, and 6 200-pound bombs that are able to do 2,200 damage with a pretty decent blast radius. The engine power is good enough, and it allows us to be able to get up to an altitude of 4,921 feet, but the maneuverability is extremely lacking, and I think you all saw that. The wingspan on this aircraft is absolutely massive, and if you just take a look at a comparison to the next aircraft that we get, look how much smaller the wingspan is on the BF-110. So this is the BF-110 Bravo, and this is the next aircraft you get, and we'll be covering that in another video very shortly, as I'm going to try to get through each one of these aircraft every day for the next couple of days. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. By the way, the equipment is the exact same setup that we usually use on all of our heavy aircraft. Although that's a mistake. Improved gun sight. We're going to make them even more accurate. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.